And I'll call the meeting of the conference board to order. First order business would be to approve the minutes from the February 12th, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion to that effect?
Go ahead. I'll make that motion.
Okay, the motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And at this time, we'll open the public hearing regarding the FY 2026 budget. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the budget? Anyone wishing to speak opposing the budget? This time I close the public hearing before we vote, correct? Okay. At this time, I would close the public hearing and take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. And is there a motion to adopt the FY 2026 budget as approved on February 12th, 2025?
Also moved.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Is there anything else, Mike, you need to cover? All right.
It's gonna take 3 minutes. Sorry. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you all for your time, and then we'll take a motion for adjournment.
Make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. We are done with
Trying to go back to bed in case.
a couple minutes to spare. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. I don't do it all. Thank you. Yep. That's good. Thank you.
Thanks, Angel.
Already done. Good. Rick Rapp can come in now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Nice that we've had them in person. I think we've had to have a call before.
Right.
Not, so.
Yeah. Had a quorum here.
Mhm. It's 9 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. You'll join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You've received the minutes of the previous meeting. What are your wishes?
Move approval.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, Jeff,
On Saturday, Jeff Minkins, who celebrated his 15-year of service to Grundy County. He was hired March 8th. In April of 2020, you were originally hired as co-patrolman at a Conrad shop, and then Grundy. And then in 2020, you moved to full-time blade. Have anybody have questions for him?
How's it been the last 15 years?
Yeah.
You've enjoyed every day of it, right, Jeff?
For another 15 years.
Yeah.
Correct answer.
yeah,
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, congratulations.
Next on the agenda, we have open the bid documents and award project for our Hawk Avenue and 290th Avenue. Paving overlay job. First, we have Aspro. Bid bond looks to be in order. Grand total of $1,369,476.72.
Forget that part.
Not sure you would have made it. What you get? Next is Manats. The bond looks to be in order. $1,389,307.40. This one is from Des Moines Asphalts. Bid bond looks to be in order. $1,645,035.95. Heartland Asphalt. Bid bond looks to be in order. $1,595,279.44. So. For the apparent bids, Aspro is the winning bidder. So we will take these back to the office, table this for next week.
Yeah.
To award the project.
Move the table.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Yeah, who did the project down, Conrad? This last project.
Heartland, wasn't it?
Pardon, Rich. Yeah.
there, what was your estimate?
The estimate was 1.4,
What's your
Just-
estimate?
just under.
Okay.
So next on the agenda is the open bid documents and award for our annual farm to market rock haul. PCI. Bid bond looks to be in order. $148,350 and no cents. And our last is Burning Rock Products. Bid bond looks to be in order.
You need to sharpen your letter opener.
Here, that's the dull form.
Oh.
I think a big Bowie knife would be. So from Burning Rock Products, it is $111,987.32. So our apparent bid winner is Burning Rock Products. Huh? That's it, there's one thing I didn't hear that. So. Table that, please.
I moved to table.
Okay, is there a second?
Alright,
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Consider discussion and possible action on general liability limits changes with ICAP. Is our next on the agenda. Talk insurance, a lot of people leave.
Holy shit.
So we are currently sitting with $3 million of general liability. One of my projects that I would want to do requires a $5 million general liability change. Or have to have $5 million of general liability, so up it by $2 million. In communications with Phil, he said it wouldn't be a bad idea just to do it in the overall, but not necessarily. The question is are you guys interested in upping our general liability?
What's the project you wanna do that requires?
So we want to lease the rock parking lot of Alliant Energy over there on the southeast corner of Rhinebeck. And we are leasing it for $1. The increase in general liability was, correct me if I'm wrong, 11,000.
11,274.
Yes. The reason for this is to put a stockpile of rock over there. With the quotes that I got back to stockpile that rock. It's gonna save us about 14,000, it would say. It was gonna cost us $14,000 less to stockpile it there than at PCI's yard.
So you can pay for the increase in
Just,
liability.
just in liability
And,
and save $3,000.
and that liability is over everything.
Yes, over the entire county. But because it is general liability, I'm not sure the supervisor's budget is the one that provides that.
I was gonna say, this year budget?
Yeah.
So,
We just do it for just that time period.
So,
well,
yeah,
so we were talking, we cannot do it for a time period. But with the possibility of lawsuits going up, everything costing more, do you wanna see a $2 million increase in our general liability? And this is for possibly a one-time thing. It could benefit us, it could not. You know, the stockpiling could not. We wanna try it out. I think we can get it done better.
So Alliance agreeing with you to do it for one time?
Well, right now, the lease is just set up for an 8-month period up until the end of September. They are leasing us the ground for $1. Free, essentially. They're letting us put a stockpile of rock on that property where the old substation sat on the southeast corner.
So basically, they're renting it for $11,000 and $1.
Yeah,
$11,001.
yes. Essentially, yes, but
What
If you
does
spread-
Phil think? Is our coverage adequate at 3 million? I'm assuming he's an insurance sales, is he gonna say no?
No,
Well,
right.
I don't think it's a bad thing for the county to have the additional coverage, but it comes with a cost,
I'm probably leaning that way also.
is his
Yes.
sentence here.
so. This all came about because of me, is asking for this increase. But if you don't, that's fine. I just need to know how you guys wanna do on this so that I can move forward with different, whichever way I need to move.
So this liability would cover any county operations, right?
That's correct. Cause it's taking our regular or general liability limit from 3 to 5 on everything.
I think I got 3 on my own self.
Well, I have 2 on the construction business.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Jeff could cover it plus save a little bit, and we've got overall coverage for the whole county.
Well, you cover it for 1 year for guaranteed.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean we have to keep it at that.
And you don't know if this rock stockpiling would be more than 1 year, you're trying,
I think it would be more than 1 year.
okay,
I'm 98% sure, but
But if it's not,
cause
you could still maybe go to $4 million or something instead of 5.
and then in the
What the
coming,
savings of that,
like,
I don't know.
next year, you mean, yeah.
Right.
So look at it that way.
even whatever we do with insurance. Alliant requires us to have a $5 million policy, general liability policy.
Sounds like he said it's actually costing us $11,001 or something.
Yes.
Is that gonna increase any kind of noise level in that part of town?
Temporarily, traffic.
Cause the only concern is you have the one sheriff's deputy that does live right there. Like his house could see that pile and hear the machines backing up and going back and forth.
The pile should be built within 2 weeks. The removal of the pile should be done within 2 weeks, if not faster.
How many tons would be in that pile?
12,000 ton. So a little larger than 100 by 100 by 30 feet tall. But while the pile is there, I mean, nothing's really gonna be happening. It's just while we move it in and then once we disperse it.
So this is part of that, having the contractors bring it into different piles and then you guys
Yes,
distribute it from there.
yep.
So you got, at each one of these sites, you're gonna have to have a government wheel loader.
Yep.
Loading these.
Yes.
Pushing it up on the pile first, probably.
Right.
you know,
Or that's what I meant.
And then unloading it and loading it
Yeah.
out too, probably.
Yep.
That's,
So on our regular haul, when we hire local truckers, they deliver it to the road and it takes 4 guys.
Takes a blademan,
Blade man
guy at scale, 2 guys out.
on the road, telling them where to start and where to stop. And collect tickets. This will be 1 guy with a loader taking tickets and piling it up. And also loading our trucks. The money saving, it might not be as much money saved in the payment to the actual contractors to haul the rock. The money will be saved in less miles, less fuel, maintenance, wear and tear on our equipment.
I got one question.
Yeah.
In my experience with this whole game. They bring in 13 tons of rock, usually on tandem. Okay, when we load it out. How are you gonna know how much you're gonna load out? To put on 135 ton to a mile? Because you can get 26 ton on a tandem.
But you're averaging that out.
We're
That's
averaging
right.
135 tons for all miles. Some roads might get less if it's doesn't need it. And
That's
it's
the way we've
gonna,
always done it, but
and the reason why we're doing, the best situation is that. We are moving to a position to where the blademan. Gets to choose how much tons per mile on what road he wants in his territory.
well, that's the way we always did it.
And not in the past. In the past, we've always said, here's your 135 tons, and then the guys out there says, how much tons you got on? Okay, go.
When I
I'm
did
sorry.
it, when I did it. If Ross Levinson called me.
Yeah.
He said, this road over here needs 200 ton and this road don't need any. That one road, and I always said that's the wrong way to do it. Like that, because now that road's gonna be extra short. For a whole year. But that's the way. I run my truck. And I kept track exactly. Like Les Meyer does with our scale tickets. How many ton went on each mile?
Mhm.
End of the day, I totaled up every mile. Put it on a map.
And it'll continue with that way with our own trucks. It was not that way with our contractors.
Okay.
Because we had to tell the contractors exactly which road to go to, where, how to get there. Stuff like
Farm to
that.
market was completely different too. That was just,
Yeah, farm to market is delivered on site.
yeah.
It's not into a stockpile. But with our guys are a lot better at spreading it, putting it where it needs to go. Getting the job done, actually, like, the detail work, where the contractors aren't gonna have that detail. They're just gonna go to this pile, unload.
Dump and go.
But you're not gonna get any kind of weights off it after it gets on the pile.
Correct. But we will know that 12,000 tons went to this territory.
Right. So when somebody calls in and says they haven't seen a rock truck all summer. Maybe right.
But we have
Yeah.
GPS on them now. I can tell you.
No. When I was there, I had that too.
Yep.
You tell them the tailgate's open when they close,
Yep.
but we know, that was always. Under my crawl. And we had it, but nobody used it. Then. Why do I have to keep track then on my scale tickets where I put all the rock?
Right.
But I think too, there's definitely some roads that need more rock than others. And that's,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
The Avenue does especially.
And you get a lot of dust on, wax out of them. Stuff like that.
I'll move, the county raise their general liability limit to $5,000.
about 5 million.
For,
I don't think you're gonna get much opposition.
I will retract that and say 5 million.
I would second that.
Glad you brought that up, Vic.
All those in favor of changing the general liability to 5 million, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Alrighty, so. Next on the agenda is the land lease agreement with Interstate Power for $1.
Now that we raised the liability, we better
Better
approve
take-
the $1 lease.
okay, is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
This agreement does require a digital signature, so I'm asking that you guys appoint me as the person to sign it on your guys' behalf.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I will make a motion to that effect.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
What,
Yeah.
think about it, raising our liability insurance, does that raise any of our cyber insurance on our general liability, so we don't have to pay $10,000 for that other?
Hmm.
I mean, does that? Good question. Does that change
Will
our?
that make a difference in this?
Yes.
Um,
Anyway, I
okay,
needed to say
yeah.
that while I was thinking of it, or I would have got it, so.
okay,
We'll
we'll
talk about
we'll
it
remember
next
that to the, yeah.
Next on the agenda is approval of a contract with. Roush Bros Trucking LLC to provide stockpiled granular rock surfacing in the amount of $204,000 and $204,070 and no cents. This is to deliver 11,000 tons to a 2-hour. There it is. 11,000 tons to the grain elevator in Stout, 12,000 to the Rhinebeck location, and $12,000 to our Conrad shop. 12,000 tons of rock to our Conrad shop. I got actually numbers from the people that I requested. Prices from. These are the contractors, these are the prices for further, but down at the bottom here. I'll give you a copy, sorry. Skyline Burning Rock Products. We already signed their contract. Roush provided their numbers. PCI was in second place for the Stout and Rhinebeck location. And New Roth Trucking was the second lowest in the Conrad location. With Roush, they are giving us 23 cents per ton mile. Rhinebeck location was 28 cents per ton mile and 30 cents per ton mile at Conrad.
Where are they at?
Last year we paid 27 cents per ton mile to our rock haulers.
Where's this Roush out of?
Roush is out of, I believe, somewhere up north, can't remember the town. I know Iowa, IONIA. I don't know.
Doesn't sound very close.
I know they do a lot of, they did do a lot of our own rock haul here. And they haul out of Burning and Waterloo South and LeGrand quite a bit.
You're gonna have them start doing this soon?
As soon as the contract signed. They have to go, they have a completion date of June 20th. They have to have it all done by June 20th.
Is there a motion to approve this rock hall contract? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Department matters.
Yes, got some department matters.
Not a whole heck of a lot. It's pretty sloppy out there. Blades are gonna be dragging and cutting rumble strips at intersections, stuff like that. Truckers are working on their equipment, getting everything greased up today. Tomorrow they'll be distributing sand salt mix to the outlying sheds, and then Wednesday start hauling in rock again. And we've started thinking about, once it actually starts drying up here, we start doing our own distributing of our own rock stuff we put in rock piles, so. We want to get that out, start getting that on the roads, especially for the farmers who are having to haul in grain. Cause it's getting kind of sloppy out there.
Anybody signed a paper for wage job? For the
Wage job, at the end of today is Kevin Groot's position. We are posting Kevin's position today internally. We will see who takes that.
Today was the last of the.
Yeah, Friday was the last day.
Kevin's been doing the job.
Kevin has been doing the job since Wade left.
I heard his job.
Any other questions for Jeff this morning?
I got a silly question. Why is there a red flag on top of the rock piles?
I saw that on Sunday.
I'm just,
I can answer that. I started that. Wind direction. How fast the wind's blowing.
I didn't know if it was.
I climbed up there and put one up there one day and.
they were playing King of the Mountain?
That's what I thought.
I didn't know if it was for measurements or.
Well, when you're looking out the window and it's blowing snow, you can see which direction it's coming
See,
out.
I just look at the turbine out my window, but
Right.
you know, if you don't have that option,
Yeah. Rock, it's the,
It's the wind direction.
okay.
I guess you gotta improvise.
That's right. Some were things.
I
that
noticed that before Conrad, and I thought, well, maybe the.
That was me, instead of looking at
Yeah,
the
well,
phone.
yeah. That's hard.
If it's sticking straight out, you know, it's blowing good, if it's hanging a little bit. It's all common sense type thing.
Makes sense now.
Everything went good with all the snow and
Yep.
ice, all removals, nothing,
Yeah,
and visibility and issues. nothing.
yes.
Good.
It was not fun driving it.
Saved a lot of rock on the road.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were kind of in a tough spot, get the snow off and have something black to drive on, or have mud in the future, or save the rock and drive in the slush.
glad you saved the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is your cutoff, or what is your minimum amount of snow or whatever?
3 inches
3
for
inches.
blades,
Okay,
I believe is our policy.
yeah,
You were close.
If we weren't there, we were close.
yeah.
but didn't last
Depends on
long.
the future forecast
Yeah.
too, I think a lot. Everybody knows it's gonna melt pretty fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hard to drive on the gravels.
oh, yeah, it was hard,
But
that first day,
First day, that's about it.
yeah, but by the end of the day.
Yeah, once you got a track through it, it was.
that's all I have.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Jace, you're up.
So last week, I don't remember which day it was anymore, but we had a safety committee, security committee meeting. We actually have two things to bring up today. The first one is, as a group we met, and Judge Wagner has expressed interest in joining our group. So we'd like to ask you guys for approval to have her join the safety committee.
Is there a motion to that?
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
All right, that's gonna be one more thing we can put on the security report, and we get the high level judge on there. The other thing that we discussed at length was getting microphones for the cameras and all the general lobby areas, just as another security measure, so that dispatch and whoever's watching the cameras, so not this one in here, it would be each floor.
Just in the general lobby
in the
area.
general lobby area, cause then it's not. And when you're in a general area, I mean, you're not trying to hide anything, so it's just kind of. Then we did talk about getting some signage too, like this building is under surveillance, just to kind of cover the county side of it. That way if somebody says, well, I didn't know I was being recorded, well, there's a sign somewhere wherever we get them. I believe in the meeting, I said there's stop signs everywhere, but people still run them, but it gives you that little security measure, like, hey, you missed the sign, so. Butch has quotes, they're just under $300 for the microphones. And we talked about getting 7. That covers about half of the indoor cameras. And then we might just start off with putting 3, because we don't know for sure the square footage that they pick up. But like right here, there's one above the door, where we can hopefully catch the clerk of court, because nobody's real, not everybody's excited when they go in there. And if something would happen, it gives them a chance to, the sheriff's office, a chance to hear what's going on.
They can monitor that.
Mhm.
So would that be something that's like it is on all the time, or they turn it on if they are
The microphone would
notified?
be on all the time,
Okay.
and then the cameras are usually pulled up over there, that hopefully if they can hear something's going on, they can get somebody over here quicker.
Okay.
Without having to reach and push the panic button on the phones or.
Any thoughts on that? Any questions? Any motions?
I'd probably support that. I'll move that we approve that.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Then Butch is gonna look at getting some signage, whether it's potentially kind of like at the annex building, you know, we have that nice window decal that you can
Mhm.
see through. That way we can list no smoking, no guns, video or buildings under surveillance, instead of having a piece of paper
12
saying
sheets of
each
paper.
one. Because this time of year, if you look at the door, it's full with everybody's budget, so we don't wanna take up too much extra space.
And yeah, it'd be a more permanent solution
Yeah,
rather than a
more long-term, hopefully we
sun.
don't add anything more to it, and we shouldn't be limiting anything, I don't think we're gonna ever be allowed to smoke in a courthouse again, but.
You're gonna talk a little bit about the panic button.
So we did look into adding a panic button for the clerk of court's office, and Dumont telephone essentially like punted, like there, we can't do anything here with it. Without adding a phone right by the counter, it's kind of impossible to do. And then it just so happened we had somebody stop by that sells like the old school bank panic buttons. That was about $12,000. So with talking with Judge Wagner, who was in on our call, since she's starting to listen in and whatnot. They're looking at more like a policy change in there, like there's always 2 people in that room. One will be up front, one person will be behind them, that they can press the button, so it's not obvious. There is a phone nearby, but with 2 people always in there, one person should be able to do it without being completely obvious. So it might just be a training end on their side.
Yeah.
But that was the cheapest and hopefully the most efficient option to do it. I mean, you kind of got to put responsibility back on people when they go to different places and say your safety is your responsibility. So that's what we're kind of pushing to.
And usually between the offices, they may,
Yeah.
I mean.
We keep an eye out for
Yeah,
them and
I mean-
I call a
I was
lot
gonna
of
say,
times.
yeah, if
There's been
there's,
times where Angie's alerted them, hey, you need, there's something going on over here. I mean, so it's pretty much they look out for each
you
other.
say with the doors all open, you, I mean, if
We
it's,
can
you can
hear it,
hear if something is
We can
starting.
hear everything.
Then we have the microphones and they'll hopefully alert them, they'll hear it, and then Angie will be calling and she'll be watching them right across the road.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that covered just about our safety committee stuff, so. We got our quotes back and we wanted to move on it quick, so we called the meeting early and trying to keep things moving.
Okay. Is there anything else for Chase this morning? Any other questions while we've got him in here? Back in fire danger a little bit.
Red flag
Keep an eye out.
warning today, potentially tomorrow, so don't burn your ditches yet, stuff's just gonna blow back into them. I knew I was gonna get you on that.
You didn't have to call any trucks.
No, like I said, you guys were doing it right. We drove past somewhere, nobody's out there watching it. You guys are at least out there watching it. That's a big part, but. I know. I don't know.
And the burn ban was not in effect.
It was not in effect
There you
yet,
go.
'cause I hadn't been to the office to get a hold of the state fire marshal yet. I know everybody gets worked up, it's nice out, they wanna be outside, but red flag warning, not an official burn ban, but that's.
Just be,
Hopefully they pay attention,
smart.
like, it's not a good idea today.
all right, thanks, Chase.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the canvass of votes for the special election, Ladbrook Rhinebeck Public Measure UA. Pass these around. There are 2 copies of each, is that correct, Alan?
Yes.
All right. And those need to be signed, this one.
What is related to the Rhinebeck vote. See, there's some bills that are coming in associated with that. Does the school pay that? Do we get reimbursed?
Yes. Gonna put that bill together and send that to them this week.
And so there were 813 votes for, 56 against.
Yep, and two, blank ones.
Hmm.
I'm not sure, we're gonna,
Vote credit.
when
Some
we
people
look,
just wanna vote for everything so they can say they voted in every election. They might not care. So then they get credit for showing up and it shows up on their record, being a good citizen.
was that in the absentee group or was it in the other group?
That was at the election.
So we won't see those.
Undervoting is a thing, that's what we call it, undervoting, when you don't vote or something.
Well, it seems like a waste of.
You guys keep records of.
It's like abstaining.
What is that?
Yeah.
Purchase that, I think,
How do we know what?
Oh.
No, ooh, you're one of those, aren't you?
One of those.
Somebody's got it somewhere, probably state in China's cloud somewhere.
No. None of that stuff gets reported, none of it is attached or connected to the internet, none of it is. I did not have to put it on a thumb drive and upload it to the state site. We just give our results through a spreadsheet to Tama County, because they are the control county for that election. So, yeah, none of our machines are online, our poll book's not online. So there's no way for anybody to get into that.
Something most people don't know. Okay, next up on the agenda is the payment of bills. You received the bills. Were there any questions that have not been answered about any of the bills?
Couple there.
Okay, oh, that's fine.
On the sheriff range, I think it said range master training supplies.
In the Range Master Training Center. $22,000.
22,000 plus another 2,200.
Yes, I just figured it was for AR rifles, I don't know for sure. Cause there was some.
What was the vendor name again?
Range Masters Training.
He was gonna buy a bunch of rifles, wasn't he?
Was that, okay,
13 of them or something like that. Plus there was some holsters on that same.
yeah, that was a different different entry
Right.
on that. So,
09.
question for the engineer. There was a Menards at Cedar Falls. And it didn't really, it just had a number on it. It didn't say what it was for. It had a number of 96949.
How much was it for?
Yeah, we looked on that one.
I know we bought some fans. I know we had to get a fan, but I didn't know where. I didn't know.
59.98.
I'm sure what $1,500, but we bought for $60. I'd have to ask him.
I just had, it, it usually says supplies or whatever, and it just had a
Yeah,
numeric
96949.
description on it.
Okay.
More curiosity than anything. It wasn't a big bill. The other was prompt tire service, outside repairs. Like $9,500.
I think that was just for tires. We
Oh,
bought
tires.
Yeah,
They're like
Yes.
bigger tires.
yeah.
But you put it, usually says tires, doesn't it really?
Well, there were two separate, 195 was for outside repairs, and then there was 3,700 for tires
Yeah.
to the same place.
How much was the tires for?
Said 3721 or 3271, sorry. For the tires and 9557 for outside repairs.
I can follow back up with you. I wasn't the one who purchased that, so I cannot. I don't remember what that would have been for.
Any other questions on the bills? Or I would take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Then we have the Cowbell Cyber Risk Insurance Renewal Application. Possible action.
Who's the agent that sells us that?
That comes through ICAP. Phil
That's through
Johnson,
ICAP.
yeah, Phil Johnson
Phil?
gives us that. I think we had to have that last year because the liability limit wasn't high enough for the regular policy, so we had to go to that one, but we thought that they raised it for this next year and we didn't need it. But now Jesse said that he's got to apply for it again, so I think it's just to get a quote.
There's a possibility that with our increase to $5 million liability that we might not need that.
Total amount?
I can ask him.
Why don't we check on that
Okay.
before we approve it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess, yeah, I would like to know if it's just an application or if it is. If it's just get a quote. Before signing it. So. Do we want a motion to table this?
So move the table until next
Okay.
week.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. If you could check that out, please, Alan.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a budget discussion for fiscal year 2026. I guess, yeah, are there any numbers, any issues? Anyone would like to go over certain items on the budget? Yeah. We got Angie in the room.
Yeah.
I had a couple questions on the sanitarian and the zoning,
Okay.
on the salaries.
She received a salary increase, I believe, from the Department of Health.
Board of Health
Board of Health?
recommended an increase.
Her salaries are split between sanitary and zoning and, another
Driver's
driver's
license.
license area. So when you look at those, were you questioning them because why were you questioning them?
Well, I guess I looked, we authorized the 4% and it went on the zoning, it went from 19,988 up to 22,300, which is way more than 4%.
This is Katie. Could I offer a brief explanation on behalf of the Board of Health for that one?
Go ahead, Katie.
Carrie had come to the Board of Health, who is the overseer of the projects and stuff for environmental health only, not zoning. But she had asked for that position to have a salary increase based on if she leaves in a couple of years, setting a cap or not a cap, an entry level wage. Because right now, the way it's all set up, we're working on changing job descriptions and things like that for that position. But the way it's set up right now, you're not going to get somebody in there. So this is basically, it's not a salary increase for Carrie. It's a position set for the position. Or a salary set for the position. Does that make sense?
No,
No,
It doesn't. Okay, go ahead.
So but it would be what Carrie would receive in the coming year
In the interim, correct. Or not interim, but yes.
as the sanitarian.
so where are you gonna, if we only approve a 4%, where are you gonna, where are you gonna get the money? You gonna cut it someplace else in that budget?
It's not in our budget, it's Carrie's budget. So that's a Carrie question. It's not in public health budget. And local board of health does not have its own budget. So they are the overseer of two departments when it comes to the activities done. So they oversee the board of health and the activities done, and then they recommend the budget to you guys. Same with the sanitarian. So if you have specific questions on Carrie's or on the sanitarian budget or the zoning budget, that you have to go to Carrie for.
Very.
On that, Angie, so Ken, the monies in that, are they switchable depending on what they're,
So do you mean like
For the
taking from
sanitary.
somewhere else?
In her
Yes, we
budget.
could change the budget for that, yeah, and it wouldn't change anything.
okay,
We'll just have a little bit of a flex there, and that, thank you, Katie, for that. For trying to explain that to us. I know that we just get the salary sheets and that's what we put in based on what the department heads say.
mhm.
So I would say if you, like Katie said, if you have more questions, I would talk to Carrie about it. But I don't have a good explanation for her wages. Other than that, we just put in what we were told to put in.
But those, yeah, those line items are all interchangeable then under her budget. Okay.
This is Don.
Hey, Don,
Just an FYI, the notice that is in on our Facebook pages, website, and what is published in the paper for proposed levy increase or proposed tax levy. It shows almost like a 15–16% increase. That is not the case, but the state in their wisdom gave a 10% increase in value from the current year to next year, even though we're not in a revaluation year on what we're using. So like $100,000 house, they show what the taxes are for the current year, and then they use like $110,000 for the house for next year, which then makes the percent of increase a lot higher than what it actually is. We're 4.5% higher.
I was wondering that, and I thought maybe my math was wrong. But
No, it
explains
was
that.
something that during our meeting with the Department of Management in the legislatures made that change. Because I just looked at my own. I mean, my assessed value is exactly the same last year as it is going to be this next year, or this current year to next year. So this would have more of an effect next year. But now the state's already talking about a completely whole brand new tax
Yep, they're not done
system. So anyway, I just want you to know that if you get talked about that, it's because of the state adding more value to the proposed fiscal year 26 budget or values.
So it's the valuations that have gone up that makes the difference, not the actual levy rate that we
Right.
set. Okay.
And because they added an extra 10% for that, for residential, commercials, they valued that at 300,000. So it's 300,000 this year, and next year it's 330. So that makes quite a large increase. it's a false increase. Because those values are the same unless somebody actually did major work to their house. Like added an addition or something.
So if they kept their house exactly the same, it's not a true picture of
No,
what
it's not
they're,
a true picture. Just wanted
Okay.
you to be aware of that if you get asked questions.
I'm gonna get the example, that
Thanks
is
for
on
that.
the mailer. And Amy has printed a couple of them. She's not sent them to the printer yet because there's a TIF district that pulled, even though it's inactive, but it's not pulling any numbers in it, so it's completely blank. So we're trying to get the numbers at least put in at zeros, because it's not in there at all. It's just pulling up a blank grid.
I think we should have a statement that we all can have in our possession to explain this 15%. Because we're
This
gonna
is-
be asked that often.
This is like that sample mailer, so the information on the back of that shows that the value at 100 and the value at 110, and then the difference where it shows a 19% increase in
Here's.
tax numbers.
We need a blanket statement that we can all refer to help explain that, in my estimation.
it would be nice to, yeah, get that out there because it doesn't show the true.
No.
15 and 16% at the bottom.
Can't leave well enough alone, can they?
And just when we think it's
Look
over,
good.
it's not done yet.
Like, for example,
Fasten your seatbelt.
this one was Don's.
Because my house is valued this year at 201,000. And for fiscal year 26 is valued for the same amount.
But
But the Department of Management is just following what the legislatures changed last year. But I'm sure we could work up some statement explaining that easier and get it emailed to all 5 of you.
that
We
would be
need to
good.
do that.
Yes, please. That would be helpful.
And it looks like most of the information, they're directing everything to the state. It does not have the auditor's information. It doesn't have the Board of Supervisors number on it. Phone number,
No, but that's where they'll
Yeah,
call us and
they'll call us.
them.
Yeah,
but they're trying to direct everybody to the state.
Wonder what the state's gonna say.
And they'll direct them right back to us.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's still gonna come back.
Contact your supervisors. They're the ones who set the budget. So, okay.
Instead of us saying it's a state fault, they're gonna say it's not a county fault.
Like to see their new completely revamped system they're talking about doing. Property tax. See,
I don't think I want to see it.
I don't know if I do either.
They have 2 bills in process
that's
and they're
right.
basically wanting to get rid of rollbacks altogether. No credits, they just be exemptions, and it would strike the whole House File 718. But it seems like to me, they're just trying to get that. They're trying to make the numbers look better, like we have a lower property tax rate, but if you're taxing a $200,000 house with a rollback of 50%, and our maximum general basic is 3.5, that's $3,500. No rollbacks at 200,000, you could tax at 1.75 and still have the same funds. So it looks better because it's a lower property tax rate.
Playing with it.
But they're still going to give some credits, but they forget to say who's going to be covering the costs
They're
of.
not really gonna
that,
give
not
us credits, it's gonna be exemptions.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So it's like you still have your
On a note
exemption
here.
for your homestead and you'll still have your 65 and over in the military, but there's not gonna be any credit back for them.
Yeah, so the counties are still gonna end up picking that up.
Losing money.
Any other budget questions at this time? I have a few yellow marks, but I'm still working on it.
So when's this letter going out?
It's been mailed by March 15th.
March 15th, has been mailed by the 15th,
So that if you get that TIF
so that's this week.
Yeah.
thing fixed, we can get it out.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we can have something ready by then. I'm sure somebody's probably already got something prepared. One of the other counties probably does.
But yeah, it would be good for us to have that too, because
Okay.
it's not, yeah,
Mhm.
it's not the true picture of what's going on. Otherwise, on the 24th is when we will have the public hearing. Is that correct?
Yes.
At 8:30 in the morning.
Yes, then a separate meeting at 8:30. Jeff, did you have some items or not today? No, today. Okay. You can continue to look at that then. Is there anything else under budget discussion for today? Okay, are there updates on various board and committee meetings?
So where are we at with this Board of Health suggestion on that salary?
We want to have Carrie come.
I think you need to talk to Brenda and Carrie. Brenda's the
Okay.
one who signed Carrie's salary sheet.
Okay.
So it involves both of them,
Okay,
so.
we want to have them come next week, see if they'd be able to come.
Well, I think we should, because we need to make a decision on that salary request.
Yeah.
Carrie is.
Fine.
Carrie's online. And I sent her a message, asked if she could explain it. She hasn't
Okay.
responded back.
We want to do that now?
Thank you.
Is she up there?
No, kind of.
Let's see if they can come.
Yes, please.
Yep. Um. Well, we wait to see if they come. Were there any board committee meetings?
I had a couple.
Okay.
Northeast Iowa Response Group, or NERG, as they're called, did a virtual meeting with them Thursday at 1 o'clock. They went over. Last of the training's winding up for the year. Casey's back there behind the chair.
Yeah.
What are these propane kits they were talking about?
That I'm not sure, cause I couldn't be in the meeting on Thursday.
Apparently there's propane flare kits to departments that don't have them. Guess, I don't know if that's something to,
I can look into it, cause that's the
Yeah.
first I've heard about it.
yeah, cause I mean, they just approved it, but I didn't know what it was, if it's like some tool to help put out a propane tank or something.
Yeah, I can look into that, cause that's the first I've heard about that part.
Yeah, so they, like I said, they didn't give me. They wanted me to be the treasurer, and then they thought they might eliminate the treasurer position, which is fine with me. And then they ordered a handheld air sampler to have at their disposal, so. We'll be able to take that, and it's been 20,000 different types of.
Yeah, it's
It's
like a
unreal.
little 4-gas meter, it does a wide range, and what kind of started this is when the Quick Start in Iowa Falls had one of its like
Oh.
core issues.
Yeah,
The teams were split between 2 different calls. And they're able to borrow one for one call, they realized how well it works and how Northeast Iowa, Waterloo Hazmat team has one.
so this would give them access to that. then.
Yeah, and I think with the treasurer, now that they have a full-time secretary, Kayla Swansinger, she does an awesome job. I mean, you're gonna get more emails than you probably want.
I already do.
They're able to, handle it a little easier since they have full-time help and the Waterloo fire chief has been in position for maybe a year, not quite, as the NERG leader, so. Otherwise, it was Big Dave Jensen out of Holland. He was our leader for a while and we couldn't wait to turn it over fast enough.
So then we had later that day, we had the 911 and the emergency management meeting. It sounds like Chase has been doing a lot of training. And, everything's looking good. 911, they're updating the repeater at Conrad. And then, did you wanna tell them about the surcharge on the?
We can, so, and again, the state's wisdom. The state 911 group is running out of money. So what they've done, and that goes towards like helping dispatch with next gen 911. And shared services, which we just became a part of. Right now, the surcharge rate is, all the money goes to the state on like wireless surcharge. So like on your credit card, or not your credit card, your cell phone bill, there's a $1 surcharge rate. That goes to the state, and then they do a formula, we get 60% of it back. With the bill that was proposed, we would get 46%, so 46 cents instead of 60. And that would be until they would finish phase 1 and phase 2 of next gen. Which is, they tried to explain it to us and it doesn't sound like they really have a timeline for how long that could take. But whenever those 2 phases are done, we would go up to 55%. So we would never get the full 60% back. There's a lot of opposition to it. Everybody said, why can't we raise the surcharge? Because this is the second oldest formula behind the Fire Service Training Bureau. And with the governor saying no new taxes or no raised taxes, they're gonna leave the surcharge rate at $1 or at $1.
$1.
They proposed a couple other things, like locally right now, it is up to the county to go after the landline groups. With Grundy County, we get a good amount of landline surcharge, but landlines are dwindling, so that's not as much money coming in either. So I did hear Friday that the bill didn't make it to the funnel deadline. It was House Study Bill or something. But they warned us that just because it didn't make it to the funnel, it is not dead. There is still lots of conversations going on. Because the state 911 will be out of money by like the end of 26.
So it's not over.
No. Lots of pushback on it, from sheriffs and deputies, counties. Just about everybody, but isn't in Des Moines. And we had to send a draft of what we've been saving 911 money for, because we had over what they thought was the threshold at one point. And I haven't heard anything back, but I know at one point Dallas County had over $1 million to redo their radio system. And they've talked about, the state doesn't want to give any more money, but now they want to take our money and then tell us we're still on our own to do the upgrades. Like, they're not letting us save money. If you have too much, they want to take it, but they're not gonna give you any more either.
Sounds like a theme.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, very interesting, your meetings were, so, informative to the point.
Anybody else have any other news? I had a Together for Families governance board meeting. We approved a new member on that board and approved a contract amendment to make a program free for all participants rather than a sliding fee, just to make it easier for enrollment in that program. Our regular meeting has been postponed due to the possible changes in the early childhood groups. Also, they're moving towards districts similar to the behavioral health districts and changing how that's going to be run. So more to come there also. And what did we find out, Ellen, Brenda, Carrie?
Brenda's not here, Carrie's on the phone.
Okay, so we will shoot for that next week and discuss with them then. Is there anything else to come before the board this morning?
We need to discuss the invitation we got from Brian Schoen on who wants to attend
Oh,
on
okay.
what days on these sessions over there where Intercog is going to give us an update on
Oh,
what
yeah.
services they offer.
I can't go the 20th,
I can't go the 20th. I got an appointment. I can't be at the,
so do I.
And that would be okay. if
I can't be at the
we have a quorum
court.
there, right?
Pardon me?
We would want to have 3 of you there as a quorum, correct?
I think this is just
Or is it
information.
just an
Yeah,
informational?
it's
deal?
just informational,
Just
so it wouldn't matter. So then it's, as long as we're not making decisions.
And I don't think we all have to go the same day.
No, we don't.
Any of those dates will work for me.
Like they're,
Any will work for me but the 20th, but you guys can go on the 20th. I don't. Whatever.
I'm open. I just thought it would be easier because they had a meeting that day, so I figured you'd be at the meeting.
Well, I should be, but I can't. I gotta be.
That's what I originally said that.
I gotta be somewhere else that day. So what day you guys wanna go? There's the 18th at 4 to 5:30. The 20th is 4 or 2:30 to 4, which I can't be at that one. And the 26th, Wednesday, the 26th is from 4 to 5:30.
Let's see, the 18th.
I'd go for the 18th, Tuesday,
What time was that?
4 to 5:30.
Okay.
Will that work for you, Vic?
Yes.
That work for you, Jeff?
Yes.
That works for you, OJ? You wanna go? Sure. You wanna go?
Yes,
We're
yes,
gonna have a bus full.
I think it works.
It's easy to have them come here.
Well, you need to see the facility over there too, and
Yeah.
just see how
It
it
is
operates.
nice.
What time did you say that's starting?
Tuesday is 4 o'clock to 5:30 on the 18th. You want to respond to Brian that there could be 6 of us on the 18th? Is
Yes. Do that.
that okay with everybody?
Good with me.
That work for you, Heidi?
Yes, it does. And if it doesn't, I will let Brian know and make different arrangements.
Great. Why don't you inform him of that, Alan? See if
Yeah,
that
we'll do
works
that.
for him. Unless he's got a house full already for that day.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else to come before the board this morning?
No.
Not, I would take a motion for adjournment of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And that-
So how many people were on that owl, Alan?
9.
Sheriff Franklin,
No,
9 today.
we're children now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he